Hi, I'm Pete Daniels from the Crosby Center.
I'm here with Tamarick Vanover.
Tamarick Vanover, formerly of the...
Tamarick Vanover's name, once tied to NFL stardom, now carries the heavy shadow of drug trafficking and vehicle theft, scandals that forever tarnished his legacy and shattered his image in the world of football. Vanover found himself tangled in serious legal trouble. He pled guilty to a felony charge of aiding and abetting in the sale of a stolen vehicle. This wasn't just a small mistake or a bad decision, it was part of a larger federal investigation into drug trafficking and stolen vehicle rings. It's shocking to think about how someone with so much going for them could get caught up in something so criminal. What made it even more dramatic was his cooperation with federal authorities. By agreeing to help their investigation, Vanover essentially admitted his role in these activities and it putting a glaring spotlight on the on-field issues that were starting to define his life. The Chiefs were in a tough spot as all of this played out. In March 1999, they faced a financial decision regarding Vanover. They were supposed to pay him a $750,000 roster bonus, a significant amount of money for a player who was now embroiled in legal troubles. Instead of cutting ties immediately, they renegotiated his contract, a move that likely reflected just how valuable he was on the field. But the situation soon became untenable. Federal authorities unsealed records revealing that Vanover had helped finance a marijuana trafficking ring. To make matters worse, this operation involved another former chief, running back Bam Morris. The revelations left the Chiefs with no choice but to release him, effectively ending his time in Kansas City. The fallout was swift and damaging. Vanover served 2 months in prison for his role in the stolen vehicle case. While 2 months might not seem like a long time, the impact on his reputation was immeasurable. He went from being a beloved NFL star to a cautionary tale, a player whose poor choices off the field overshadowed everything he accomplished on it. Unfortunately, Vanover's legal troubles didn't end there. Years later, in December 2019, the United States Department of Justice charged him with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and healthcare fraud, along with multiple counts of wire fraud and healthcare fraud. These were serious accusations suggesting that Vanover had become involved in fraudulent schemes that further tarnished his image. He initially pleaded not guilty to the charges, but the legal process dragged on. By July 2020, he was indicted again on the same charges on a superseding case. Finally, in September 2021, Vanover pleaded guilty to the charges. It was a sobering moment as it marked yet another chapter in his fall from grace. In January 2022, he was sentenced to 1 year and 1 day in federal prison. It's hard to imagine how someone with so much talent and potential ended up in such a place. Vanover's story is both tragic and frustrating. He had everything: talent, fame, and opportunities most people can only dream of. Yet time and time again, he made choices that led him down destructive paths. It's a reminder that success on the field doesn't guarantee success in life, and that even the brightest stars can dim if they lose their way. For fans who once cheered for his thrilling punt returns, his story is a painful reminder of what could have been. Vanover was a player who seemed destined for greatness, a rare talent with the kind of speed and athleticism that made fans sit on the edge of their seats every time he touched the ball. His career started with so much promise, showing flashes of brilliance that hinted at a long and successful run in professional football. But his story ultimately became one of missed opportunities and poor choices that derailed what could have been a truly remarkable career. Vanover's journey began in the Canadian Football League in 1994 when he was signed by the Las Vegas Posse, a new expansion franchise. The team saw him as a marquee player, someone who could bring excitement and energy to their roster, and he did just that. In his 1 season with the Posse, Vanover played 15 games, showing his versatility and game-breaking ability. He caught 23 passes for 385 yards and scored 3 touchdowns. But it wasn't just his receiving stats that stood out. Vanover's true brilliance was on display in the return game. He brought back 31 kickoffs for an impressive 718 yards, including a 90-yard touchdown return that left fans in awe. If that wasn't enough, he also returned 36 punts for 341 yards, including a jaw-dropping 105-yard touchdown. Plays like these showcase just how electrifying he could be with the ball in his hands. Unfortunately, the Posse's victory was short-lived. After just one season, the franchise ceased operations, leaving Vanover without a team. But this setback didn't stop him. In fact, it became the catalyst for the next big step in his career. In 1995, Vanover turned his focus to the NFL, and the Kansas City Chiefs took notice. They saw the potential he had, and it didn't take long for him to make an impact. Vanover joined the Chiefs and quickly established himself as a key player. Over the next 5 years, he became a vital part of their special teams unit, as well as a contributor on offense. He played in 70 games during his time in Kansas City, catching 39 passes for 564 yards and rushing for another 88 yards. But, as in the CFL, it was his work in the return game that truly set him apart. Vanover returned 181 punts for 1,930 yards, averaging 10.2 yards per return, and scored 4 touchdowns. He also returned 226 kickoffs for an incredible 5,422 yards, averaging 24.0 yards per return, with 4 more touchdowns. His ability to change the course of a game with a single play made him one of the most dangerous return men in the league. One of the most memorable moments of Vanover's career came on October 9th, 1995, during a Monday Night Football game against the San Diego Chargers. It was a nail-biter that went into overtime, and Vanover delivered a moment for the history books. He returned a punt 86 yards for a touchdown, securing a dramatic 29-23 victory for the Chiefs. It was the first time in NFL history that a game had been won in overtime on a punt return for a touchdown. Moments like these showed just how special Vanover was, a player who could rise to the occasion and deliver when it mattered most. But despite his on-field success, Vanover's career was overshadowed by issues off the field. His legal troubles began to mount, and the focus shifted away from his athletic achievements to the poor decisions he made in his personal life. By the time he left the Chiefs, his reputation was already taking a hit. In 2002, Vanover got another shot in the NFL when he signed with the San Diego Chargers. Fans hoped it would be an opportunity for him to turn things around and capture the spark he had shown earlier in his career. Unfortunately, his time with the Chargers was short-lived. He played only one season, and by the end of it, his days in the NFL were over. Reflecting on Tamarick Vanover's career, it's impossible not to wonder what might have been. He had all the tools to be one of the greatest return specialists in NFL history, and his talent was undeniable. But the choices he made off the field ultimately cost him the chance to reach his full potential. His story serves as a reminder that talent alone isn't enough. It has to be paired with discipline, focus, and a commitment to staying on the right path. Vanover's rise and fall remains one of football's most bittersweet tales. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Make sure to subscribe to NFL Icons for more such videos, and while you're at it, hit that like button too.